welcome to the Daily Allegory through Astrological Divination. Today, we're going to be doing a video on the powers of three, the full flower moon, three goddesses, and the three true primes of physics. Today's video is a spoken word charm that unfolds beneath the apex of the full flower moon, which occurred at 1324 EST, where every hidden act, stolen breath, and crooked bargain is summoned before the old architecture of consequence. Bound by the power of three, the story follows the three fates as they measure the thread. Split it across the three paths and weighed against the three true primes of physics: red, yellow, and blue, the sacred colors from which all visible illusion is born. In the crossroads silence, Hecate stands as the keeper of the thresholds, Nemesis as the blade of rightful return, and Melinoe as the ghostly witness of what guilt becomes when it has nowhere left to hide. The charm itself becomes a return to sender incantation, not of petty vengeance, but of judgment, justice, divine order, and cosmic law, forcing every soul to meet the echo of its own choices. As the moon blooms overhead, repercussions flower from buried seeds, and the universe speaks in threes. What was cast out returns, what was hidden is now revealed, what was owed is finally collected. Today's story is called The Third Door Under the Flower Moon. At 1324 EST, beneath the apex of the full flower moon, the house went silent in a way a courtroom goes silent before the verdict is read. No wind moved the curtains, no floorboard confessed, even the clocks seemed to pause, as if time itself had been called as a witness. Somewhere in that stillness, a nameless figure stood before three doors, one red, one yellow, one blue, the three true primes of matter, memory, and consequence. Red was force, yellow was revelation, and blue was judgment. Behind them waited three fates with their thread, Hecate with her torches, Nemesis with her scales, and Melinoe with her pale procession of restless truths. The ones who had plotted against another life had mistaken delay for mercy. They had called it strategy when they circled him. They had called it profit when they dressed theft by deception as paperwork. They had called it cleverness when signatures were altered, dates were rearranged, and legal documents bent into masks to hide behind. They called it medicine when a doctor placed their name near the machinery of the lie, lending a white coat to a black design. But cosmic law isn't fooled by credentials, seals, passwords, or titles. It does not bow to professional polish. It records the intention behind the ink. And when Venus moved through Gemini, silver-tongued and double-edged, every conversation became a mirror. Venus sextile a sensitive degree of Saturn in the 7th house opened the ledger of contracts, alliances, betrayals, and vows broken in private. Venus trine Pluto in the 10th house dragged reputations towards the underworld and demanded to know what had been purchased, what had been hidden, forged, buried, and what was renamed. Venus squared the North Node in the 11th house fractured the network of accomplices, friends, witnesses, spectators, and false supporters who once smiled in course. Venus opposing Lilith in 12th house awakened the exiled truth. The thing they tried to shame, silence, sedate, or erase was now fully live. Then came Aries like a struck match. Neptune, Saturn, Mars, Mercury, and Chiron gathered as a war council on fire. Illusions met consequence, speech met force, wounds became testimony. The con became a confession wearing too many costumes. And at the third hour of reckoning, the charm was spoken. Not as a curse, though, but as a return address. Three threads, three doors, three debts unpaid. What was sent in shadow returns by blade. Not blade of iron, not hand of man, but law older than the lie began. Red for the blood of choices made, yellow for the truth no bribe can shade. Blue for the court where silence speaks, where Nemesis weighs what arrogance seeks. Hecate stands at the crossing stone asking which path you chose alone. One path for fraud, one path for flight, one path where every forged word now meets light. Melinoe walks where the secrets rot, counting the names you hoped forgot. The doctor, the broker, the witness, the thief, each one inherits their own belief. Return to sender, sealed in 3. What was designed for another, let it be. Unmasked, unwound, and made to show. The hand that pushed, the mind below. By judgment, justice, divine order sworn, by flower moon full and consequence born. What fed on ruin, what fed on fear, finds its own shadow standing near. The doctor heard it first in the quiet between phone calls. Not a voice exactly, more like a sound of every compromised decision becoming audible all at once. A form filed too cleanly, a note written too conveniently, a diagnosis now leaning where money had whispered. The doctor had believed the penalty would be external, a board inquiry, a license review, subpoenas, testimony, the professional ruin that follows when medicine is caught serving deception instead of truth. But the first penalty was observation. The doctor would observe the pattern, observe the scam collapsing, observe former allies revising their stories now to save face, observe the legal documents compared line by line, observe the signatures questioned, observe the timestamps resurrected, observe the victims no longer looking broken, observe the architects of the plot turning on one another like rats, discovering that the ship was never theirs to begin with. The second penalty was memory. No title could bleach it. No degree could anesthetize it. No oath, once bent, becomes straight again without confession. And the third penalty was exposure. Not theatrical, not instant. Worse. Procedural. The kind with dates, copies, statements, contradictions, and people who no longer answered the phone. The nameless figure at the center of all of it did not scream. That's what frightened them most. He didn't chase. He didn't beg the universe to avenge him. He simply stood beneath the flower moon while 3 doors opened on their own. Behind the red door, every act of aggression returned as evidence. Behind the yellow door, every lie illuminated by its opposite. Behind the blue door, every soul left alone with the mathematics of justice. The fates did not rage. They measured. Hecate, she didn't threaten. She revealed the crossroads before them. Nemesis did not hurry. She never needs to. Melinoe only smiled because ghosts are not always the dead. Sometimes there are the truths people buried way too early. And when the final thread tightened, the charm completed itself in the dark. 3 times spoken, 3 times sealed. 3 paths chosen, 3 masks peeled. Let no false witness sleep unweighed. Let no stolen prophet stay unpaid. Let no altered record keep its throne. Let every hand reclaim its own. What was plotted against a life returns through order, not through strife. What was hidden beneath the bloom now flowers in the judgment room. By morning, nothing looked different. That was the terror of it. The world still had traffic, coffee, signatures, inboxes, errands, polite voices even. But somewhere beneath the ordinary noise, the old machinery had started moving. The thread had been cut. The doors had been chosen. The scam had become a map. And the ones who once believed themselves untouchable finally understood the oldest law of power. What you summon for another must pass through you first. Like they say in the Hunger Games, may the odds forever be in your favor. We're going to end this with a spoken word charm on top of our award and return to sender above that was incorporated into his story. Taken from the Word Witch, I guess. This is called The Third Bloom, a return to sender charm. At the apex of the full flower moon, at 13:24 Eastern, when the hour folds its hands and the sky remembers every name, I speak not from vengeance, but from the architecture of consequence. What was cast in shadow returns through shadow. What was spoken in poison returns through tongue. What was woven in malice meets the loom again, and the thread knows its maker. 3 fates stand witness, one who spins, one who measures, and one who cuts. 3 paths open, the path confessed, the path corrected, the path consumed. 3 colors burn beneath creation, red, yellow, blue, the true primes of visible law, the first fire, the living gold, the deep current of the unseen. From them all forms are born, and to them all masks dissolve. By the power of 3, what was stolen is counted, what was hidden is weighed, what was done in secret walks barefoot into judgment. Hecate, the crossroads, hold the lantern low, show every soul the road it chose, when no one seemed to be watching. Nemesis of the balanced blade, let excess meet its measure, let arrogance find its mirror, let every borrowed crown grow heavy with the truth. Melinoe of the night walk in revelation, send the restless dream through guilty doors, let no false peace sleep soundly beside what it has buried. This is not a curse, this is cosmic law remembering itself. Return to sender, not with rage, but with receipt. Not with chaos, but with order. Not with cruelty, but with the clean mathematics of divine repercussions. May justice rise where illusion rolled. May consequence bloom where deception rooted. May the flower open full, and may every petal become an eye. 3 times named, 3 times sealed, 3 times returned. What is mine remains, what is not mine departs. What was set against me goes back crowned in its very own signature. By fate, by path, by prime, by moon, by law, by flame, the circle closes, and the universe, silent as an apex predator, collects. So whispered by the Emperor of 99, we speak this decree into law that underlies physical law, and so it is. I'll see you in the next one.